Hello friends, it's Brandy with Stick It Down. We are a group of individuals on Facebook that like to work with sketches every month. We always have a single page sketch, a double page sketch, and a card sketch, and we get a new one every month to work with. I am on the team that works with the single page sketch. And this month, the sketch has some triangles that run down the side of the page. So I get to work right away trying to recreate those triangles. I found this stencil from in my stash that has a very similar pattern on it to the one that is on the background page that I chose. So immediately I knew that I wanted to use this stencil. I go ahead and pull out my Distress Oxide in fossilized amber, and I get all of those triangles stenciled. Now, what I just showed you was my Shimmers Spritz in Tuscan Sun. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever used these spritz, but if you haven't, you probably should get your hands on them because they are amazing. This one doesn't really offer a whole lot in the color. It's just a hint of color, but it offers some subtle gold shimmeriness. It just adds a little bit of something extra to whatever you put it on. And I love this so much, especially if you really like gold. This Spritz in Tuscan Sun is amazing. And now I go ahead, so the edges of my background page, you can tell, are kind of darkened around the edges just a little bit. So I thought I would try to recreate that look by grabbing my Distress Oxide in Vintage Photo and just going around the edges of those triangles. And as you can see, it creates a bit of an effect that's darker than what we see on the background page, but I really like where it's going. Now I had to cut that one triangle in half so that I could have the pieces to fit on the top and the bottom. And when I did that, I ended up having to go back and make another triangle because I didn't have enough to fill out my page. I didn't plan it out well enough. So I had to make another one, and I got a little more of the spritz on it. So it looks a little yellower, so I just put that one in the middle. It's gonna be sort of covered up by some flowers and stuff here in a little bit. So, and I knew that going into it, so it didn't really bother me that much. Now I'm pulling out some pieces. All of this stuff is just stuff from my stash, and I pulled out the title, this page right here that the word faith came on, and these flowers. I think this is probably just one of the Hobby Lobby brand title sheets. They're puffy stickers. So, and I had some white puffy thickers from my stash, so I could so I could complete the title, Have Faith in Yourself. And there was also you saw the paintbrush on there. That was a die from Hip Kit Club, as well as these leaves and flowers is also a die from Hip Kit Club. And if I can find the link, if those two dies are still in stock, then I'll link them in the description of this video. But honestly, I'm not so sure that they are. These flowers might be, but I think that paintbrush is sold out. And for these flowers, you guys get the idea. You see that I'm just going around the edges of the leaves. I went ahead and used, let me look, peeled paint for the leaves, and picked raspberry and mustard seed for the flower pieces. And now I'm just assembling those, and we're going to get those placed on the layout right here any second now. Okay, at this point, y'all, I'm going to be honest, I wasn't real sure that I was into this layout. I wasn't feeling it. But once I got these flowers in place and I stood back and looked at it for a few minutes, I decided that I actually do like it, but it took adding some more florals for me. Sometimes that's all it takes is just a bunch of flowers on a layout, and I think it's great. But in this case, I just wasn't sure. Obviously I had not followed the sketch just exactly, which of course you guys know by now that I never do that. So I actually flipped it because of the placement of my photos. It was just easier. I knew it was going to be easier to just put the triangles on the other side of the page. And I'm getting these florals in off camera. I do add those other leaves that are still laying over there that were still laying on the left. And now I'm just adding some color splash. This is another Shimmers Paints product that is a latex mistable paint, and there's no shimmeriness in it, but there is a slight I guess a little bit of a shiny effect on it, and you can feel the texture. It's raised up and bumped up just a little bit on the page, but that's it. Off camera, I'm going to add a couple of word strips from, I think it's the Tim Holtz word strips, and a little bit of journaling at the very bottom, and that's it. That wraps this layout up, guys. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you joining me for another one. Check out Stick It Down on Facebook. I hope you all have a lovely crafty day. Bye-bye.